I know heading into the playoffs can be a very nerve-wracking time for Baltimore Ravens fans, considering how all of our previous and most recent playoff experiences have ended, especially last year when we had such a promising team, such a great team with our 2023 Baltimore Ravens. It was looking like they were unstoppable. They were clicking on offense, clicking on defense, but then, well, yeah, you know what happened at the very end. But I was thinking about it, and this is a really great situation for the Baltimore Ravens, and I'm going to let you know exactly why in a couple of seconds. Before we do, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn them notifications on and leave a like on the video because it helps out the channel a ton. I love y'all, Team Keep It Clean, and let's just get straight into it. So when you think about the playoff picture right now, either way with how this Browns game goes in a couple of days, the Baltimore Ravens are in the playoffs, whether they the 3 seed, whether they the 5 seed, whatever seed they are in, and they are going to have to go against whether it be eventually the Chiefs, the Bills, the Steelers, the Texans, possibly the Broncos, the Chargers, any one of those guys. Or if the Bengals get in too, then they will have to possibly go against those guys. But the Baltimore Ravens, they have played every single one of the playoff teams that are on the AFC side. And that's a really good thing. Now, on the flip side, you can look at it like, well, every team's also played the Baltimore Ravens, so there's that familiarity with them. And that's true. But I really think that advantage, it goes to the Baltimore, especially the teams that they beat. And with the Chiefs, you know how that game came. It came like right down to it. With the Steelers game, we already know what happened in that one, especially with the missed field goals. And, yeah. No excuses, though. No excuses, because Ravens, they still lost both of those games, but they beat up on the Steelers. They beat up on the Broncos. They whooped up on the Bills. They beat up on the Chargers. So they took care of business. And then, again, if the Bengals get in, then yeah, they took care of business against them as well. So the Ravens have that going in their favor. Now, something that we've talked about on here quite a few times is something that Kyle Hamilton mentioned as well, is that the Baltimore Ravens, they have been battle tested. And what he said, what he meant when he said that, and he explained it too, he talked about last year, 2023 Ravens, and how they were pretty much taking care of everybody. They were pretty much whooping up on everybody, especially toward the end of the season. But they had only, with the starters playing, they had only lost 3 games. They literally lost 3 games with their starters playing. That's it. Throughout the whole season, a 17-game season, and they literally lost 3 games with the starters. With the 4th game that they lost was the last game of the season. But this season, obviously, they lost more than 3 games. They lost 5. And then you think about the losses. You think about the Chiefs game that they lost. It came literally right down to it, a toe. Isaiah Likely's toes being out of bounds on what was a crazy play by Lamar Jackson, Isaiah Likely too. And they've been hitting that play like all year long. But it was that, then the Raiders game and all the craziness that was. The Steelers game, we just talked about that one. Oh, that Eagles game. That Eagles game was probably, in my opinion, I think that was the Ravens' worst loss so far because they had it. But then, yeah, you know the rest of the story. They lost it. And that game, that was like really, they technically didn't lose by 2 scores. I know they scored that a garbage time touchdown at the very end. But that was like the only game where the Ravens, like, they got beat up in that game, like straight up. The Eagles defensive line, boy, they just assaulted Ravens offensive line big time. But yeah, so those are the Ravens. Oh, and then the Browns game. Oh my goodness, what was that? That was just like, Ravens, what are we doing? But the Ravens, they usually have some of those games where they give them away and they just don't play up to standards or whatnot. It's like, Ravens, what are you doing? But they usually have some of those every single season. So it's a good thing that it seems as if they got those games out the way a little bit earlier than usual. But with that being said, Kyle Hamilton said that they were battle tested and they have been this year, certainly, for sure. But another thing too, the Ravens they're well equipped for a playoff run. And what I mean when I say that, the offense, they're really good. And the defense, with this turnaround that they've done, they are really, really good as well. The offense, pick your poison. That's what this Ravens offense is. They can get it done in a bunch of different ways. And with the defense, ever since they made those tough decisions and those significant changes, they've been just They've been money, man. And now, think about this too. Now they're also incorporating some more turnovers in the mix as well. And like if a defense is playing really good and they getting turned up, yeah, all right. But now on the offensive side of the ball, something I wanted to focus on is that they have Derrick Henry at running back. They have a Hall of Fame running back next to Lamar Jackson. Derrick Henry is one of them guys, man. As we already know, he's shown it this year. He's continued to show it. And with Derrick Henry, he is, and don't take this the wrong way, and hey, let me know if you feel differently, but he is the first Baltimore Ravens running back that the franchise actually respects, like has a high level of respect for, ever since Mark Ingram. They have not had so much respect for a running back ever since Mark Ingram. Not a J.K. Dobbins, not a Gus Edwards for sure, not anybody else. And it's nothing against those other guys, but with the Baltimore Ravens, they just look at those guys a lot differently than they will look at it like a Mark Ingram or a Derrick Henry. And obviously, Mark Ingram and Derrick Henry, they accomplished a lot throughout their careers, a lot more than the other guys had, but just when you think about the usage and you think about how those were really the last true number one backs that the Baltimore Ravens had on the team. All those other running backs that the Baltimore Ravens had throughout the years, running back by committee, running back by committee, running back by committee. But with Mark Ingram and Derrick Henry, those have been their true number one guys. And with Derrick Henry, this is going to be the first time in the playoffs that we have a respected RB1 that's healthy. Because remember, with Mark Ingram in 2019, he wasn't healthy. He had I believe a high ankle or low ankle sprain. So he was not healthy. And they decided, you know what, we're not going to run the ball. So with that being said, because I know a big fear of a lot of Ravens fans, they're not even going to run the ball. They're going to get away from themselves. They're going to stay away from their identity. I feel like with Derrick Henry, obviously anything's possible. But I feel like with Derrick Henry, like, you cannot forget about Derrick Henry, especially in the playoff game. It's January. It's going to be cold weather. Derrick Henry's going to be sitting right there. And, yeah, you're going to have to use him because Derrick Henry is just, he's like that. So with the Baltimore Ravens, like, this sets up so well for them. All they got to do, and I know it's easier said than done, but just do your bread and butter, man. Do your bread and butter. While you are a run team, you also a passing team as well. You're able to get it done in so many ways through so many different people. Just get it done. But the Baltimore Ravens, they just simply cannot forget about Derrick Henry at all. Now, I say all that to say this, that all those things that we just talked about, which are all great things, that wasn't even my biggest point with going over how great of a situation this is for the Baltimore Ravens heading into these 2024-25 playoffs. It's the fact that, most importantly of all, the Ravens in multiple games this season, they've been down by multiple scores in multiple games this season, and they've come back. They've showed that they can play winning football, that they can play from behind. And obviously not that you want to be behind, because I always hated that narrative. I remember years ago where there would be some analysts say, oh, well, the Ravens, they can't play from behind. What if they get down by one score? What if they get down by two scores? They can't play. I hated that narrative because it's like, who wants to be behind? Who wants to be down a score? No, you always want to be up. But it was always so annoying to me. But the Baltimore Ravens have shown, like, hey, just because we get down one score, two score, whatever, we ain't got to panic. We ain't got to trip. We ain't got to just be going all crazy. No. We got this. Now, I don't expect them to or want them to get down by anything in no playoffs. But just saying, if that were to happen, the Baltimore Ravens are more than well equipped to come right back. They've shown it this season multiple times in multiple games. The Baltimore Ravens, like, and another thing too with them, to add on top of that, they're getting healthy. They're getting healthier. The Ravens, similar to last season too, Last season, overall, they had really good health. Even though last year, toward the end of last year, Mark Andrews was out for a long time, and then when he came back, it was like he probably should have stayed out. Marlon Humphrey, he was out for in and out throughout the lineup all year. Then he got back at the end of the season last year, and I mean, he did all right, but he was like on a pitch count too. But the Ravens defense, they did just fine. They were just fine. But you got those guys, and you have had those guys for pretty much the whole season. So that's been a beautiful thing, and Ravens are getting even healthier. So Justice Hill, he should be back, whether it's for this Browns game or for the playoff game. Charlie Kohler, he's going to be back, whether it's for this Browns game or the first playoff game. Nelson Aguilar, he's going to be back. Of course, we got Keaton Mitchell back. We're still waiting for him to go off, but we'll see. But again, you still got Derrick Henry, and he's obviously the guy at running back. Everybody else are contributors, but Derrick Henry is that guy, and they all know that. They all respect that too. So Ravens are just in such great shape and in such a great situation to really make this thing happen. So now we've reached my favorite part of these videos where we get to feature your questions. If you'd like to take part in it, you can send an email to teamkeepitclean@gmail.com. For the Team Keep It Clean patrons, you can send a DM directly on Patreon. And for everybody else, if you'd like to send it in another kind of way, you can send it directly to our P.O. Box. The address is down below in the description. Let's get straight into it. First question came from my guy, Real Raw Reckless. He said, changing the narrative. What's up, Ingraven the Team Keep It Clean? I hope all is blessed. The NFL did slight us when it comes to the Week 18 schedule, but hey, it is what it is. Lamar and the boys will go ahead and do their thing in the first half and rest for the second half to get prepared to play the Steelers in the playoffs. The Steelers will lose to the Bengals, and the Chargers will beat the Raiders in Week 18. What better way for Lamar Jackson to change the narrative when it comes to the Steelers and the Chiefs by beating the Steelers in the regular season and in the playoffs on our way to win the Super Bowl after beating the Chiefs in the AFC Championship? Oh, that would be beautiful. That would be a beautiful thing. He said they're going to slight Lamar on the MVP also because they keep saying Lamar has better options around him, but if you ask me, Josh Allen has the better offensive line, which makes a huge difference. Yeah, I saw Mina Kimes. She brought out a really, really good point. She said Lamar got the better running backs. And tight ends, running backs and tight ends. Josh Allen got the better offensive line. Then I think she threw Joe Burrow in there. It's like he got the better receivers. So everybody got something over the next person. She said, our offensive line is a yikes with all the penalties. Lamar makes them look better by just being out there on the field and doing Lamar Jackson things. Yeah, that's true. That's something that we've been saying for years too. So I agree. But anyway, continuing, he said, Lamar has way better numbers than Josh Allen, and he makes everyone around him look better by the plays that he makes, and he's breaking multiple records doing it. For example, most rushing yards by a quarterback, possibly the best QB rating in NFL history. All I have to say is, what will we be without our MVP, Lamar Jackson? We've seen it time and time again, and it hasn't been pretty at all. He said, where would you rank Lamar among NFL quarterbacks after he wins this Super Bowl? You mean like current NFL quarterbacks? If you're talking about current NFL quarterbacks, then he'll be two. Only because Patrick Mahomes got, 3 of them? And Lamar would have 1. I think Patrick Mahomes got 2 MVPs. Lamar would have 2, possibly 3 MVPs. We'll see what happens. But, so yeah, he would be 2. And he said, and just like if you're talking about like overall career-wise, I would say he would be 2. Only because of the Super Bowls. But right now, this year, right here, right now, Lamar is playing far better football as a quarterback than Patrick Mahomes. That's why I say right now he's the best in the world. He is the best right here, right now. He's the best in the world. But if you're talking about like overall for like career wise, then yeah, I would say 2. He said, and just like all the trash narratives about Lamar can't do this and Lamar can't beat the Chiefs in the playoffs will be. I'm out. Stay blessed. Next question came from my guy Ty. He said, hey man, how you doing today? I'm doing pretty good. I hope you're doing even better. He said, I've been pretty great since watching Ravens handle business against them Texans. Personally, I was just watching a bunch of videos about upcoming draft prospects and free agents and whatnot this season, and it got me thinking about free agency after the season. After the Ravens win the Super Bowl, we're going to have some holes to fill in our lineup. A few big players potentially leaving on the offensive line like Ronnie Stanley and Pat McCarry. Some other solid players like a Tre'Davious White, Nelson Aguilar, Pat Ricard, Malik Harrison, Chris Board, Ardarius Washington, Ben Cleveland, and quite a few more players are in need of some new contracts. Oof, that's a long list right there. He said, is this EDC's burner? Anyway, he said, I feel pretty confident that we'll get a few of these guys re-signed, but we're too talented and paying too many people to get them all back. Yeah, that's life in the NFL, man. He said, that brings the question as to who we're going to sign to fill these spots and who's moving up the depth chart as well. Pretty confident we'll get at least Stanley or McCarry back, and probably Ricard and Washington and one of the linebackers could be leaving. That leaves some spots we could plug with some interesting free agents. We'll for sure need another tackle, probably a guard too, which I would prefer to address through the draft due to the age of some of the guys that are in free agency. But we could still maybe get some pass rushers, another depth or rotational corner, maybe another linebacker and another receiver. And I mainly wanted to know your favorite prospects of free agency this year. I find that Matthew Judon, Malcolm Kuntz, and Joe Tryon to be interesting as far as pass rushers go. Joe Tryon getting ready to be a free agent already? I remember when he got drafted. That seemed like that wasn't that long ago, but I guess it was. He said, and Darius Slayton and Josh Palmer are a couple of interesting receivers that could come in to fill some spots, like guys like Nelly and Wallace and Hardy could be leaving behind. I also think a guy like Trayvon Moore, the safety, could be interesting to bring to our safety room to pair with Super Duper Kyle. What about our Darius? Who was his teammate, right? Is that the same guy who was on the Raiders? I think, yeah, because they were teammates at, is it TCU? Oh, I forget what school they went to. My apologies. He said he's young and a bit underwhelming so far, but he's another one of those guys who can move around like Hamilton. Played a lot of slot and moved around a lot between free and strong safety in college. Like, no, I think with what you got with Ardarius Washington, you keep that. You keep that. You don't mess that up. You keep him and Kyle Hamilton. But if he would be like a third guy, okay, cool, no problem with that. He said, anyway, sorry for running this message so long. I would just like the Chargers will be after we hand them a first-round exit in the playoffs. I'm out. I like that one. When you talked about a pass rusher for Ravens, I would love, because it would just make such a big difference. We haven't had one in so long. If they didn't just get a pass rusher, didn't just get a pass rusher just to fill the roster spot, but if they really got a pass rusher that's like that, whether you got somebody in college who's extremely disruptive consistently, or you make a play, whether it's free agency or even a trade for somebody in the NFL who's like one of them guys like that. That's one of the biggest moves I think the Baltimore Ravens could make. And then, of course, always upbuilding the offensive line, always making improvements to the offensive line. Because like you mentioned, Pat McCarry could be gone. Ronnie Stanley could be gone. So we'll see what happens with them. Next question came from my guy John. He said, Ingraven, between the Chargers, Steelers, or Texans, who would you rather see the Ravens play in the wild card round? Honestly, don't care. Ravens you got to take care of business against whoever. Literally whoever. The Texans, they already got their spot, though, so we can't play them in the wild card round. So it'll be between the Chargers or the Steelers. So really whoever, man. Like, Ravens are familiar with either opponent, obviously a lot more familiar with the Steelers than the Chargers. But those opponents are familiar with the Ravens because they all played them this year. They played them this year. So Ravens, they just got to take care of business. That's what I'm at. That's what I care about. Ravens taking care of business against whoever they got to face. If I had to choose one, though, like you did actually choose one, so I got to respect it. I would say the Texans, because Texans, like, boy, they just, it's looking rough for them right now. But he said it appears that all AFC North games are playing on Saturday evening with the Ravens and Browns at 4:30 and the Steelers and Bengals at 8 p.m. Oh, yeah, for sure. Next question came from my guy Raven the Phantom 6. He said, hey, Ingraven, I hope you and your family and everyone in the team keep it clean. Had a great time and was able to spend time with friends and family. Also, this was before. He sent this on December 27th. He said, also, let's get Ingraven to 80K subscribers. I appreciate y'all because it's done now. Now on to whatever ends up happening next. I appreciate it, though. He said, let's keep growing the team. It has just been a great time to be a Ravens fan. In just 11 days, we got 3 wins, and it's pretty much a given that we will win a division and take back the North. It's just been an amazing time, but of course, that leaves us with the postseason. The road to the Super Bowl will be a difficult one, but to be honest, we should be ready to face whatever team comes our way. I agree. He said, our road to the Super Bowl will be a revenge road. How? Well, first, we will face the Chargers at home, which will be a repeat of the 2018 wildcard game, of which, of course, just like myself, and we all remember, it was Lamar's first playoff game, and now he has improved so much since then. He certainly has. The next game, depending on the outcome, will be the Bills at their crib, and it will be a repeat of the 2020 divisional round, which, as we know, Lamar suffered a concussion, which was awful to see. Yeah, it was. That pick six was awful to see, too, because they ran the same exact play 2 times in a row. First time they had it open and missed it. I think it got tipped, but I don't remember what happened, but they missed it. And then the very next time they ran the same play, back-to-back, then a pick six. Oh, that was painful, man. Let's see. Then after that, we will have to face the Chiefs at their crib for a rematch of the very first game of the season. And the AFC Championship game last year, too. Honestly, I'm so excited for this road, and this will be the Ravens' ultimate chance to show everyone that they can beat any team, and more importantly, that Lamar can win huge games. Thank you, Ingraven, and the whole team. Keep it clean, and just like what we did to the Texans, I'm out. Next question came from my guy Chaz. He said, I think the sleeper wide receiver in this year's draft class is someone that we should get. Jimmy Horn is very explosive and shifty and can bring that home run factor to our offense. Not only that, you know how Lamar loves his Florida Ravens, and Horn is from Sanford, Florida. That's true. I did look that up. He said, I'm sure he's already looking to tell the front office that he wants him. What are your thoughts on it? Yeah, he is from Florida. You know I'm biased to all the Florida Ravens especially. But he's 5'10". Not to say that a 5'10" wide receiver can't play, because he could, but I just feel like he would bring a lot of what we already have. And I mean, hey, we're about to lose Tylan Wallace probably. Nelson Aguilar could possibly be out of there too. So he could come in. They could get him. He could come in and help. But I just think a big body. It depends on what role you're thinking of for him. I'm thinking like for one of the top receivers, it should be a big body guy. And I know we got a Tez Walker and whatnot, but I think we should get a big body guy that more so complements Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman. I think that would be a better fit. But if we're talking about him as a role player, then all right, I'll be cool with that. Next question came from my guy Gerald. He said, "What's going on, Uncle? Hope you and the family are having a safe and lovely day." Hey, I appreciate you, my friend. He said, "I'm here to say congrats. You deserve, and hopefully you reach 90K quicker and fast." I appreciate that. That'd be nice. So maybe one day we'll see, man. He said also hope to reach where you are with my YouTube channel in the future. Oh yeah, you going to for sure, man. Keep doing what you've been doing, man. He said y'all help my uncle reach 90K subscribers by sharing his videos and sharing the channel. But also it will make it even better when you reach 90K plus us winning the Super Bowl. Hey, that'd be a nice little combo. I wouldn't be mad at it. He said, but when we do, but either way, thanks for reading the email. I hope you take care. Same with the family. Let's go Ravens, and everyone should and needs to say before every Ravens game, it's lock-in season. We are 3-0 when I say it, so more people saying it will make it better. And he put hashtag Team KeepItClean, hashtag Ravens flocking, and hashtag Super Bowl is on the way. Next question came from my guy Jay. He said, "I just want to give the best of wishes to everybody throughout this season, and a very, very happy Ravens New Year. 2025 holds a Super Bowl MVP for you know who." Yeah, you do. No need to share. Congrats again on 80K. Hey, I appreciate that, Jay. Thank you, my friend. He said, "I can remember when you were around 50. Okay, go ahead, man. Hey, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thank you for sticking around. This ain't been crazy. It's been crazy. There's been a lot of slow moments, slow growth. There's been some times where stuff been getting crazy. But either way, I appreciate all of y'all for rocking with us, for being patient with us, and for sticking around with us too. Next question came from my guy Jarvo. He said, Myles Garrett, Garrett Wilson, DK Metcalf, and Max Crosby. What do these names have in common? These are players that might ask out of their previous organizations. Oh yeah, definitely those first two, Myles Garrett and Garrett Wilson. Max Crosby, he could too. DK Metcalf, I ain't heard nothing, but we'll see. He said, who would you go for realistically, or do we continue developing what we have? Realistically, if they asking out, I'm going for one of the whoever asks out first. Well, minus Garrett Wilson. But I would either if Max Crosby act, it'll be him. Myles Garrett, him, DK Metcalf, like you can't go wrong with any of those, and any of those would have a huge impact on the Baltimore Ravens. If I'm thinking how the Ravens would be thinking, they would be thinking more so defense than offense. So Myles Garrett, they would love that. They would love that because that would be personal too. But he said, I heard a question today about the last time we beat the Steelers, we won a Super Bowl, which means we haven't beat them in 12 years. Yeah, that's why I was confused. I was like, no, that can't be right because we don't beat them before. Under the Lamar era, because Lamar beat them before. He beat them before he beat them the other day. And we ain't get to the Super Bowl. We ain't win the Super Bowl, so I don't know where that stat came from. Next question came from my guy Aaron. He said, guys, I just want to take a moment to say that I'm very happy to be back in my home city in Atlanta. It's been so long since I was a child. It has been up and down all my life, but visiting my home city back home has made me feel so much happier than ever before in my life. Hey, I'm glad you're doing good and happy too. He said, the life is uncertain, but love is real. I'm so grateful and thankful for all the support and love and memories of my childhood. Thank you. You guys are amazing. God bless you. And go Ravens. It's your boy, Aaron. And he said, hopefully Lamar will hoist the Lombardi trophy for his first time, whether it's with the Ravens or others. Oh, no. With the Ravens this year, for sure. Question came from my guy, Jay Fire. He said, what's up, Ingravenvids? Your boy, Jay Fire here. Hope you and the family are doing exceptionally well. Appreciate you. He said, can you believe our Ravens, who started off 0-2 and are frustrated us at various points in the season, are in position to win the Super Bowl? I know you're going to say yes because you've been saying we're going to win it from day one. Our path definitely has not been easy. Oh, it certainly hasn't been. He said, well, I got a question and an opinion to share. So my question is, who would you want as a first-round opponent? I know we aren't ducking anybody. There we go. Boom. You done answered the question already. Anyway, he said, and we're going all the way, but is there a team you think it would be good to face first to help our path? Personally, I love to take on the Texans, but that would mean we lost to the Browns, which we ain't doing. So next would be the Chargers, because I ain't trying to face the Steelers again, because even in a win, somebody could get injured in those games with how physical they are. Chargers could be ready for round 2, but who would you want to face? I said, if I had to choose, and like you mentioned, Texans, they getting ready to go do their thing, or they getting ready to have the division. I think they already got the division. But if I had to choose, I guess the Chargers, another Harbaugh. I mean, really whoever, man. Really whoever, because if it's a Steelers, it's all going to be people that's familiar with you, that you're done gone against. Chargers are the team that's, I guess, the least familiar, since you only faced them once this year. With the Steelers, you faced them twice already. And, yeah, those been some Crazy games for sure. So I guess the Chargers, if I had to choose, and it wouldn't be the Texans. He said, my opinion is on the MVP race. I actually am okay with Lamar not winning the MVP, and I think Josh has earned it. The reason why is because I was listening to someone talk about the difference between MVP and Offensive Player of the Year. I think Josh is the most valuable to his team because without him, they aren't in the same position they are in. Without Lamar, we'll be struggling, but I think we have players that will still keep us in games like Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, and Mark Andrews. You think so? I disagree with that 1,000,000%. I feel like it's the same for both Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson when it comes to that you're talking about right there. Like without them, it would be ugly. Like you don't remember when Lamar Jackson wasn't playing? Oh my goodness, it was not pretty at all, my friend. He said, now the best offensive player, that's Lamar. He can run and pass and by himself, and he is just an explosive offensive player. He is someone you have to game plan against. And I dislike when people compare Josh and Lamar's running because they are completely different. Lamar ain't doing no QB sneaks and is just running past people. Josh is more of an athletic Big Ben, which ain't an insult because Ben was giving people like the Ravens that work. Yeah, he was annoying. He said, I think there is a case to be made for Lamar to win MVP for sure, but I think it shows how our team has grown to say that Lamar doesn't need to be Superman for us to get a win. That's just what I think, and would love to get your thoughts on that. Now, with that part, I do like that part. That Lamar doesn't have to be Superman for us to get a win, even though he's had to do a lot of Superman stuff this year. There have been some games where he's been able to take it a little more easy because of Derrick Henry, which has been nice, but Lamar has also elevated Derrick Henry's game as well. That's what a lot of people fail to realize, too. A lot of people be like, oh, Lamar got Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry helped out Lamar so much. And he did. He certainly does. But Lamar has also helped Derrick Henry out a whole lot, too. He said, well, thanks again for all you do for Ravens Nation. And just like the Bengals are from the playoffs, I'm out. Well, we might have to put a little asterisk on that one, but we'll see. Next question came from T from New Orleans. He said, what's up, great? Hope all is well with you and the fam and team Keep It Clean. It's T from New Orleans here. This is only my second question, but when watching your channel religiously since 2016. Whoa, T. Appreciate you. Thank you, man. He said, you're amazing, bro. Love what you're doing with Team Keep It Clean and keep going, bro. 80K in no time. Obviously, he sent this before, but I appreciate it, man. He said, being able to go to my first Ravens home game this past Saturday versus Steelers was a heck of an experience from the crowd to seeing Lamar Jackson, the king, and the resilience we all been missing from that Ravens defense. Definitely won't be my last. Hopefully, I'll be seeing him in my hometown come February. Oh, that would be nice. He said, I just have some stuff to get off my chest about the media and their sickening takes on the MVP race. Now, let me start off by saying Josh Allen is an amazing quarterback, and I'm not trying to trash talk bad about him to lift Lamar Jackson up, but this foolishness has to stop. Seems like the media is doing everything in their power to push this agenda that Lamar has weapons like Hall of Famer Derrick Henry, Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers, and Rashad Bateman, and they're the reason he's playing so good, which I agree, but at the same time, did we forget just last year Lamar was MVP? Derrick was on the Titans, Mark was MIA due to injuries, Zay was a rookie, and everybody was under the impression that Bate was injury prone and was on his way out the door. Ooh, hey, that's some good points right there, man. That's some really good points. He said, but praise Josh Allen for doing it with less, which has been Lamar's MO his entire career. That's real right there. He said, when Patrick Mahomes had the best wide receiver in the league, Tyreek Hill, and the best tight end in the league, and Kelsey, nobody took that away from his greatness and said that he was only good because of the talent he had around him, which, if you want to be honest, he is not looking like the best QB in the league this year. That is such a great point. I did not think about that when it came to Patrick Mahomes. Nobody said that. With Peyton Manning, what he had, Adrian James, Marvin Harrison, and them. Nobody was like, "Oh, no, it's his only because of those." But with Lamar, it's all. We said this from jump, since we've been saying this since 2018. No matter what Lamar, there's always going to be people trying to discredit him, and they're gonna creatively try to discredit him. So many different ways. That's such a good point, though. Anyway, he said, I heard Shady McCoy's argument was Josh is playing with a bunch of no names like Shakir, Curtis Samuel, Matt Collins, Kincaid, Cook, and Knox, which I feel is still a better team if we compare the supporting cast that Lamar had in his Miles Boykin, Willie Snead, Seth Roberts, and Jaleel Scott. If I was to ask the non-Ravens fans what number those players wore, they couldn't tell me. Lamar will never be good enough for some, and it's nothing he can do to level out the playing field because I heard Shannon Sharp say if he wins a Super Bowl, then he'll have earned the respect. But how does Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Justin Herbert get praised for their success without a ring, and Lamar's floor starts at the Super Bowl? LOL. But I digress because I can literally go on all day how anti-Lamar the media is. But my question to you is, I thought you had already hit on all the points that you wanted to cover. But anyway, so my question to you is, what does Lamar have to do other than set NFL history records and continuously improve year after year to get the respect he deserves? If somebody is going to respect Lamar Jackson, then they already do right now. That's it. They already respect him right now. If they don't respect him already right now, they never will. A Super Bowl won't change it for a lot of people. Because even if when he gets the Super Bowl, they're going to be like, oh, he should have got another one. He should have already had two by now. Why did it take him so long to get there? If they don't respect him by now, then they never will. He said, sorry for the rant, just don't want the media to undermine this amazing MVP caliber year he's having due to their plot to get Josh Allen his first MVP. Ravens Super Bowl path. See, this is a special question because my guy Josh, he been sending these in all year, and he would usually say, hey, how the Ravens go from 0-1 to 1-1, or how they get from 0-2 to 1-2, and he would say how they can improve their record every week. But this is different because now he's saying Ravens Super Bowl path, so he started off different. Anyway, he said, what's up, great? Hope you and the family, and hope you and your beautiful family are doing great. I appreciate you, my friend. He said, hope Team Keep It Clean and yours had some great days. That was a great 3-game run in 10 days, so beautiful. We have the 3 seed, lead the division. The media realizing MV3 soon, and the best part, the Steelers lost 3 straight. Oh yeah, that helped us out a lot. He said, I love that we are getting hot at the right time, Zach, or who I need to make an apology to. I didn't know Marcus and Jackson was bringing our entire defense down like that to the point where we thought we had trouble with the pass rush, who was top 3 in sacks. LOL. It's true. It's crazy. It's crazy how that turnaround has been. He said, we could still use a top pass rusher other than Kyle 2.0 that we can have for more than 3 years. Offense is back in rhythm, and we are getting healthier down the stretch. I say for the Browns game, don't even rush Hill back because that concussion looked very scary, so let's give him a little extra time into the playoffs. I wonder, have you thought it can be a good thing if the Bengals make the playoffs? If the Bengals make the playoffs, we wouldn't see them unless they make it to the AFC Championship, where they would have to go through Buffalo and Kansas City. If they make it, I think there's a low-key good chance they can beat Buffalo for us, even though we don't need them to, because Buffalo is not built to stop us on their defense. Or even if the Broncos make the playoffs, they have at least a top 11 defense. I don't have the stats on their defense, but I remember when we played them, they were number 3 at the time, and the Bills would have to play them. Yeah, I would hope for a Bengals upset, but a Broncos upset, but I really couldn't count on the Broncos for nothing. He said, as of right now, the Chargers, they have clinched a playoff spot, and it's a very good chance we could play them in the playoffs, and I like our chances against them. Last time, Derrick Henry had 140 plus on them, so they would key in on the run, and I love our chances against them in the pass game with our wide receivers versus their DBs. I truly believe they will be better than playoff Hollywood, who was clutch for Lamar, but the best part is instead of just having Hollywood and Mark, Lamar has likely Bateman, a better Justice Hill, Tylan Wallace, Nelson Aguilar, Tez Walker, who are a huge upgrade from his wide receiver core when Hollywood was here. That's true. That's a really good point. He said, also like our chances against the Chiefs again. I know they are getting healthy and hot right now, but with our offense and our defense coming together, I love our chances. Whoever's coming out the NFC, good luck trying to stop Lamar and Henry. If this season ends like how I predicted, Lamar gets MV3, a ring, and a Super Bowl MVP, that has to be like one of the best QB seasons ever. Oh yeah, I would love all of those. And the one that could possibly be the hardest, so not necessarily the hardest to get, but the one that seems like is going a different direction is just the MVP. But the rest of them, they lining up perfectly. Anyway, he said, my question to you is, I thought your question was already there, but anyway, my question to you is, which team don't you want to see in the playoffs, and which team do you want to see in the Super Bowl? In the Super Bowl, I wouldn't care who the Baltimore Ravens saw because it would mean that they got there, that they got to the Super Bowl. Now, which team I don't want to see in the playoffs is the bad version of the Ravens. The incompetent version of the Ravens, the version of the Baltimore Ravens where they decide to go against the grain. They decide not to stick with their bread and butter. They decide to go against what's working. That's who I don't want to see in the playoffs. He said, last year was our Infinity War. We are in the end game now. It took the Avengers 2 times to beat Thanos, who's the Chiefs. Much love. Can't wait to celebrate the Super Bowl with you and Team Keep It Clean. Until the next email. I appreciate you, my friend.